GameFi promises the creation of in-game economies, with digital assets that hold real value. Over 400 games are currently in development, with release dates set for the next 12 months. In this video, I'll talk about how the sector is evolving and how digital assets might become a game changer. My name is James Cini. On this channel, I create content about blockchain development and decentralized finance. I'm not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice. So first, let's talk about how GameFi works. So this is the integration of digital assets, and these come in two main types: fungible and non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible tokens are NFTs. You've probably seen pictures of the punks and the monkeys. And they can also be used to represent things like parcels of land. And within the game itself, that NFT provides rights to that piece of land. The holder of the NFT has ownership rights over the in-game parcel of land, and they can build on it or do whatever they want. It can also be used to represent things like swords, shields, or maybe within a kind of sports content, players could be represented by an NFT. On the other side of this, you have fungible tokens, and these might be used to represent an in-game currency. You might need a certain amount of coins to buy a shield or a sword, and those coins add up in your account. This is quite common in games and has been for a long time. But the only real difference here is those coins or tokens hold real value. You can withdraw them from the game to a decentralized wallet and exchange them for stable coins or whatever you want on a decentralized exchange. The first game to gain traction in this space was Axie Infinity, and their Axie token gained an almost 10 billion market cap. Since then it's declined, as we can see from this price chart, but Axie at its peak was the best-in-class way to allocate capital to the GameFi sector. They were able to distribute rewards in the Axie token to all their gamers. Everyone earned just from playing the game. The problem with this was that they were giving out so many tokens to everyone that as players sold their tokens to realize their gains, it created a negative selling pressure on the token price. This, combined with an eventual market downturn, caused the price to collapse. Now I think there's a more sustainable way of doing this. If we look at the next generation of games that are in development, I'm hoping we see better tokenomics, where rather than everyone earning, we maybe see the top 10% of players or the top 5% of players making money. They set an example for everyone else and something to aspire towards. If we take a long-standing card game from the real world, we could look at poker as an example of this. Only the top players at the table will make money generally. There's some variance, of course, and I think that's important within a game as well. I don't think anyone wants to play kind of chess for money because the best player will always win, but with something like poker, there's a certain amount of luck involved as well. But over time, the best players will normally win, and this creates a number of economic benefits. If only the top 10% of players are earning, obviously your selling pressure is 90% less, and that's great for the actual price of the token itself. And also as people, we love a challenge, and something that I found is the harder the game is, the more I enjoy it. I enjoy getting better at something and staging up through the levels to become proficient at that sport or game or challenge. Within a gaming context, I think this could help with user retention and the stickiness of the game itself. So by creating a skill-based game with some variance, we can cut the supply side down of the tokens and make that more sustainable. We also need to focus on the demand side. Where does the demand for that token come from? Well, I think as with most of the things in crypto, a lot of it is going to come from speculators. That's not necessarily a bad thing because obviously this is a huge sector. A lot of the smartest people in the industry are expecting this to bring on the new wave of crypto adoption. And there's a lot of capital floating around waiting to be allocated to good projects within this space. There's certainly an opportunity here for games developers to sell an initial amount of their tokens to VCs and seed investors. However, from a more sustainable point of view, I think something that I'd like to see more of is games that actually sell for GBP or US dollars, allocating some of that capital towards buying the tokens and providing the initial users with a token balance. So say a game sells for $15 on Steam, then potentially you could sell it. A game developer could up the price to $25, but then include $10 worth of in-game tokens for when the player starts the game. This can create real demand on exchange for that in-game token. So the search for the Next Axie Infinity is on, and this is where I'm looking. So I've broken this up into three parts: gambling, community, and trading. And these are the big areas where I think there's the most opportunity and it makes the most sense to have an integration of digital assets within a game. So for gambling, there's casinos. These obviously already using real world tokens. We've already seen some casinos pop up in places like Decentraland, which is a metaverse project. But I think there's more opportunity for things like sports betting as well, where you can almost have like an automated market maker type system to make trades at fair market value for a particular bet. Then there's esports, which is a massive category already, but I think there's a potential here because people are willing to bet on themselves. We see this a lot at the golf club where people are willing to make not necessarily great bets because they overvalue their own abilities, or they enjoy betting on themselves as to compete against someone against the odds. And then obviously there's traditional card games as well, like poker and blackjack, which again lend themselves to this kind of in-game currency really well. The next category is community building. And again, this is broken up into 4 parts. I've got sports manager games, things like FIFA or Football Manager. Then simulators, I've got things like Metaverse or Grand Theft Auto type games where you've almost got kind of a second reality, kind of a Ready Player One type thing. I know Facebook or Meta, for example, have put a lot of work into creating an economic model to incentivize third-party developers to build 3D objects for their in-game metaverse, and they're going to create a marketplace around this. And then we have city builder type games like Farmville or Minecraft. In my time, it was called SimCity. These are really kind of addictive type games, which are fun to play, but it makes sense that they have an in-game currency where you could buy certain objects, which might be NFTs, within that game and build up your community over time. And the success or failure of that community will be based on your skill levels as a manager as such. And then finally in this category, we have battle games, and this is where you build your own army to fight other armies within the game. And a good example in this field is World of Warcraft, which has proven over time how sticky a game like this can be. Then we have trading games, and this is slightly different. We have NFT trading, and that could be combined with like augmented reality. So do you remember like the Pokemon Go type app where you go around and collect Pokemon? There's no reason why those Pokemons that you find in the street couldn't have a value. You could go sell them on OpenSea. If you can create demand for this, then it would be great marketing if some kid finds a highly valuable NFT outside their back door. And finally, we have battle cards, which I think cards lend themselves very well to NFTs, and that could potentially put into a game itself. So things like Top Trumps in the UK, where each card has different traits and you can battle the cards against each other. We could see something like this emerge and pop up, where we have some kind of initial NFT, which gives you certain characteristics, and then there's almost a randomness or a certain amount of luck and variance as to who wins the battle between them two NFTs, and the winner takes all. For me, the thing that I'm most excited about is the metaverse type projects. I think there's been so much development recently with 3D rendering and developer tools such as Unity that we can create better worlds, and it's becoming easier and easier to kind of create these immersive 3D experiences. If we can combine that with a vibrant in-game economy, then I think we have a very compelling and attractive game for the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're interested in learning more about blockchain development in the crypto sector, then consider subscribing. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and thank you for watching.